Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Asama here from Team Stand and Draw. I'm tossing over you a deck profile, my completed Megacolony build, at least in prep for set 15. I'm going to show you what's in it. I've tossed up a deck profile for this deck probably more than once, if not once only, but it wasn't really entirely completed, a complete machining build. This one is. So, and because of how good it is, I'm considering my deck is probably no different than all the current Megacolony decks in prep for the 15 set that's coming out sometime in September. So, I'm going to show you what's in it, and you're going to tell me what you think. Alright, let's start. Obviously, just like in my other video, grade 0. Grade 0 skill, machining working skill when it comes out of the soul, standing up a machining unit on the field. It's pretty much the beginning of it. Love this unit. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the new grade 0. People are saying the new grade 0 is good. It is. I'm not saying it's not. Personally, I believe that this unit, I'm used to using this, and there's a lot of ways I was able to combo with this card. I've tried Cardfight Arena and went and tried the difference between this grade 0 and the new one. And to be honest, I prefer this one a lot better. It's just I feel easy using this card. My grade 0s. I have 3 of Megacolony Battler B. Megacolony Battler B skill. Boosting a Megacolony unit when you get a hit confirm. CB1 and stop a unit on the field from standing next turn. Love this card in general. A lot of pressure to this card apply. 9 times out of 10, depending on the person's hand power, they're not going to want to have a card rested, so they will have to block. And also, I like to have this card under Vanguard, because when I ride my grade 3 machining Stag Beetle, I'm hitting for 30 with this card being part of the booster. So, you know, they're just gonna have to let this hit and let me stop a card from standing next turn. They're just gonna have to let it happen if I'm willing to waste a counterblast. So that's the reason why I like it. And then if all 3 of these are on the field, that's nothing but just a long line of pressure right there. They don't want 3 cards on their field to stop from standing, even if they know I'm dumb enough to willing to risk 3 of my counterblasts, knowing I have no damage on flippers. But if it's late game and I have all 3 of these bad boys on the field, I will use them if any means necessary. If that means you have to drop your hand. So that's the reason why I like them so much. I have 4 of the Machining Hornet. Machining Hornet skill. Placed on rear guard or vanguard, it becomes a 10k hitter when it's machining in the soul. Very convenient when even as a booster or as an attacker. Either way, if it's a booster and you have the grade 2 machining on the field, you're swinging for 22. On the field for 10 with a booster, maybe with the Battler Commander B, it's a 17. Drop a 10 for me. Also, I'm stopping something from standing. There's a lot of this machining hornet's actually pretty convenient. You come out of here. Let's say I don't even put this on the Vanguard. Maybe I want to hit for even higher number. I want to come somewhere near 40 or something like that. What? Let's see. 37. I don't know. 37, 36. Stag Beetle skill. Bring up the 0. Restand the 1. That's 22. What is it? 32 right there. It's actually a pretty good number. 32 is actually fairly good. I like this card because it actually brings out. It hits high numbers early game and late game if ever needed. Considering that it's not using any counterblast. I like the Hornet for that. Being a really good grade 1. Even though it's a 1-turn thing, it's still really good. Let's see. Have Sean. I run 4 of the Machining Mosquito. Machining Mosquito skill. When placed on Van or Rear Guard, Soul Charge 1. This card is like a big necessity to this deck. It is. Why? Because Soul Charging. It's not Pale Moons, so you don't have to necessarily be heavily reliant on Soul Charging, but it's still really, really good to have. Because it helps you rise your chances of Soul Charging in and machining into the soul. That way, when you play the grade 3 Stag Beetle, you're sure to have an extra machining in soul, so the grade 2 and grade 1 machining card effects can go off, so they can get the extra power. That's the reason why this card is so convenient to have. Also, it's also a good card to start with, so you can also have a good chance of Soul Charging in an extra machining. That's the reason why I like it. And last but not least, like everyone else, or like most people anyway, 4 perfect guards. Sorry, my organization is horrible. There we go, yeah. 4 paralyzing Madonna, perfect guards. How do I feel about the Quentin Wall? I'm a tad iffy on it. It's back and forth. One point I want the Quentin Wall, second point I don't want it. I'm not saying that the Quentin Wall is bad or anything. It's just considering the way my deck is now. Let's say 15. Let's say 15 was 14, right? And the Quentin Wall was to come out in 14. The way my deck is now, let's just say, for instance, because not all, because Murakumo doesn't have all of its best cards coming out in 14. The most they've got is a Quentin Wall and a Break Ride, and maybe one or two other cards. Other than that, it's not really that much. And I do believe the reverse. I think that's it. So let's just say by chance, hypothetically speaking, they tossed in the Quentin Wall for Machinings inside set 14. The way my deck is now, my Grade 3 Master Beetle is the only card in the deck aside from my Megacolony Battler B that uses Counterblast. So I cannot afford to use this. Just to be able to block. That's the reason why having a Paralyzed Madonna is more convenient. But however, if for the least I really have to have a Quentin Wall in the decks, I'm only going to put in one, not two, one. I know it's questionable why I'd only put one inside the deck, but it's just I just don't feel it's necessary to have two inside the deck. And forgive me if my finger was blocking most of the light. I didn't notice it until just now. But yeah, I only put one inside the deck. I don't necessarily feel I need Quentin Walls inside a deck. I don't. I'd rather just have the Perfect Guards for the cost of actually dropping 8 cards than having a Counterblast 1. I just feel like Counterblasts are a lot more needed than the cards in your hand, even though both are actually technically necessities. I'd rather drop a card knowing I have the hand power than have to Counterblast 1 for knowing I don't have damage on flippers. That's the reason why I'd rather prefer basic Perfect Guards instead of Quentins. I know all of you feel like Quentins are more convenient. A lot more convenient for more reasons than one, considering the decks that you play. But personally, as a Vanguard player, I feel like Quentin Walls just aren't needed. They just aren't. At least for me anyway. Alright, those are my grade 1s. Grade 2s. Right here, I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 of the Machining Mantis. Machining Mantis' skill placed on Rearguard or Vanguard. It gets 3k power when it's Machining and Soul. Comes with 12k beat stick. Pretty convenient. Again, just like the grade 1. So you have the grade 2 on the field, and let's see, the grade 1. Like I said before, 20. You're swinging for 22. 22 is actually a good number to hit early game. You know they're gonna have to let that hit. It's just that good. So I actually like that. It's also good on Vanguard. Of course, they're not gonna block it if the number's already hitting 12 by itself. Plus the Megacolony Battler B, that's 18. Just let it hit, so I can use a Counterblast, so I can cyber card from standing. So at least something's not hitting me next turn. Then I can just block one attack. It's actually pretty convenient. It's also good when it comes out of the Soul with the with machining Stag Beetle and whatnot. Just wham, gets the 12k power with Machining and Soul. Bam, another card on field. 18, 22 at most attack. Bam, high number. Can't really stop that. 10, you get the trigger. 27 at most. That's the reason why I like it. Really good card to have, just like the grade 1. Next, I have 4 of the promo. This is Machining Armored Beetle. Machining Armored Beetle's skill. When placed on rear Vanguard, take a machining that's inside on the field, toss it into the Soul, and stop an opponent's unit from standing next turn. Really convenient, and considering there's no timing in Vanguard, it doesn't matter which one you do first, or how you go about doing the effect first. You can either do this, you can play it. No, excuse me, rephrase that. Let's say you have the grade 3 Stag Beetle, right? You play it, you call out this. Because there's no timing in Vanguard, you could do this. Play the grade 2 standing, play the grade 0, put the grade 0 back into the Soul, and stop a card from standing, considering there's no timing in Vanguard. That's the beauty of it. I've just recently learned this from some of my teammates on my team. So that's the reason why I've started to play my deck a little bit differently, knowing that there's no timing in Vanguard. Logically, this is supposed to be obvious, but I personally didn't know this. I didn't really take that into account. So that's the reason why my deck was always played so stiff. And there was no real flexibility with this deck when I used to play it with all the videos y'all saw me in. I didn't really play it the way I was supposed to. But now that I know, I'm playing it a lot differently now. And this card combos with a lot. Late game, this card really helps out from cards attacking, especially if your opponent's hand is really low. So something's gonna stop from standing and something will not be played. So that's the thing that I like about it. This card is a very convenient card deck. And last but not least, one of the 2 lone wolves of the deck. This is Toxic Trooper. Toxic Trooper's skill on van or rear guard. When this unit attacks, no unit on the field, on your opponent's field for that matter, is allowed to intercept. So, when this card attacks anyway. None of your opponent's units can intercept. So, and I know for a fact that when set 15 comes out, people are going to up this card up to at least maybe 2 or 3, depending on how they feel. At most, currently, as of right now, people have 2 in their deck. At least that's what I believe. But right now I only have 1 because I don't really see any place or room for this card to go in. But having at least 1 is convenient for the one time that the card happens to be on rear or vanguard. So that's the reason why I call it a lone wolf. Next, my grade 3s. I have 4 11Ks, being the 11K of the deck being what is that? Martial Art Mutant Master Beetle. Master Beetle's skill, obviously, limit break, heavy counterblast 3, stop 2 cards on the field from standing. So I actually love this late game after I feel like I've used all of my Stag Beetles and I haven't really drawn any for a good while. I'll just play Master Beetle to be an 11K base and then use the Fate late game if I haven't used Counterblast yet to at least save myself some trouble. That's the reason why he's here. Really good card to have. Next, 4 of the big cheese of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Machining Stag Beetle. Machining Stag Beetle skill when placed on Vanguard. Choose 2 of your machinings from Soul. Call them out, and both of their powers get applied to the Machining Stag Beetle. So 9 times out of 10, when this card is played, right, when I play this on Vanguard, I always pull out the grade 2 and the grade 0, so I can obviously keep the grade 2 standing and put the grade 0 on. But if the grade 2 machining Mantis isn't on, if I didn't call that one out and instead I called out the Armor Beetle, I'll just combo that and then stop a card from standing. So it works either way depending on what I call. But 9 times out of 10, if I have the Megacolony Battle of B after calling a 9K and the grade 0 on the field, I'm gonna be 30 with Vanguard. So that's the reason why I like that number. So, and you know, my opponent's always gonna be dropping cards to me regardless. That's what I like. So it's actually good to have. I like this card a lot. That's the reason why when set 15 comes out, I don't plan to take too many of him out. I'm probably just gonna put in I'll probably take out maybe 1 of him. I'll take out 1 of him for, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 of him. I'll take out 2 of him for the break ride at most. 2 of him for the break ride, and take out 2 of my Master Beetles for the new 11K machining. That's probably what I'll do. Just have 2, 2, and 2, just for the hell of it. And last but not least, the Lone Princess of the deck. 12K beat stick, Bewitching Officer Lady Butterfly. Obviously, like I just said, 12K beat stick. On Van and Rear, gets 2K for a 12K attacker. You know, I used to have Phantom Black in my deck to be a 20K row, but I realized how inefficient that was. So, because then I didn't always have Lady Butterfly on the field. So, it became a nuisance after a while to have a Phantom Black. So, I took him out and just kept Lady Butterfly in here, just for the 12K attacker. It's my grade 3s. And last but not least, my triggers. This, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 draws. 4 draws. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have a crit. And 2, pull this out from under. Yeah, I have a crit, a critical, and last but not least, you already know how the old fashioned goes. 4 heal. That's my trigger lineup. I did that really sloppy, I know, but yeah, that's my trigger lineup. 4 draw, 8 crit, 4 heal. That's my trigger lineup. And with that all said and done, that is my Megacolony build. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section below, and I will try to answer as soon as possible. This is Asama, and I will see you guys later. This is from Stand and Draw.